Oh my goodness. This is awesome. This is awesome. It is a moment in time. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Again, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. You are at the Writery Inc., which is a publishing company, a book publishing company, a bookstore, so many other things, an art gallery, and of course, the home of Optima Gold Radio. And so today we'll be doing a brief interview with Dr. Bailey on Optima Gold Radio. It's actually being broadcast live in terms of being on air, not live in terms of being on Facebook or anything, but it is live, and so there are others listening to us. And so at this momentous occasion, we're happy. Happy. We're truly happy. We started out 2 years ago as a small, on-air radio station, and so to have someone like Dr. Bailey with us today, this is an awesome achievement. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. So we are going to make it quick because I know some of you have been here for a while, and it's some had to go elsewhere, but we're gonna make it quick. And of course, after our little talk or conversation, you will get a chance to ask questions. All right. So, Dr. Trisha Bailey, I have some questions prepared, but you know what? I'm not even thinking about what I have to ask you. I can just picture this little girl in a little district, right?
Yes.
Running around, climbing trees,
Yes.
picking guava maybe, and
Mango.
mango, and just being,
Just
right?
Yes.
And that's me. And this is part of why I love this moment because you are me. Right? I want to be like you when I grow up, right? But you could be my daughter, but you remind me of that little girl that I was, innocent and just running around. And for so many of us, we can relate to that, right?
Right.
So as I read your book, I pre-ordered your book, and I read it like I started it the night and I finished it the next day because I really could not put it down because so much of your story resonated with me. And I'm sure this is part of why we are here because so much of what you talk about in your book, we can relate to it. But one of the things that really stood out to me that made me think was your Aunt Verona. Oh my goodness. What was I think she inspired you a lot, right?
She did.
What was her role in your life?
Oh, she raised me.
She raised
She raised me. So
Mhm.
my mom had went to Kingston because she needed to work to send money back to the country.
Mhm.
Oh, they cannot hear back there. Okay, so I need to talk louder. I'm looking like he's touching his ear. I'm like, something on my ear.
Okay.
So she raised me, and my mom had went to Kingston so that she can work in order to send money back home because we had pretty much nothing. We had no resources there, and in order for us to really survive, that was what my mom needed to do. So she left us with I was with my aunt and her husband, and my sister was with my grandmother. So we raised the children are raised communally. The community raised you. The whole entire family raised you, and she's just a kind, loving soul. One of my fondest memories is going to the store for her when I was like 5, 6 years old, and she loved to drink wine, little wine, and she'll don't tell anybody to say this, but she would let me taste it. So therefore, here we go, the wine.
Wonderful, wonderful.
I grew up tasting wine, and
Yes.
yes, so she showed me what it looks like to be an amazing mother, a supportive mother. These are qualities that I've carried on with my children now. And the way that her and Britta, her husband, who
Right.
I'm the only father that I've ever known, the way that they were with each other was just kind and loving. They were gentle with everything that they did. I've never heard any of them raise their voice ever. For 13 years, I lived with them, not a single moment. And so, yeah, she absolutely inspired me. Yeah.
Right. And so your story is pretty much what a lot of us have experienced in terms of your parent being away and you are being raised by somebody else. But in some ways, that didn't make a difference because you got the love.
Yes.
And that's what I got from your book. And one of the amazing things about your relationship with Aunt Verona is that she talked to you. She didn't just fling shoes or stone or something and say, picnic, come in on the yard, right? She had conversation. She gave you some wisdom that I'm sure stayed with you.
Yes.
And that made all the difference. And I'm an educator, and I so believe in not just teaching for the sake of teaching, but giving those little nuggets of wisdom to our young people. What you speak into them is what they become.
Absolutely.
And I applaud her because I think she was one of those that was instrumental in your journey and your resilience, understanding your place in society.
Yes.
So that's your early years in Jamaica, right?
Yes.
So now at age 13, and for those of us who have not read the book, how many people have not read it? But I'm not going to tell you her story, and this is why I chose to ask her these questions, because you need to read her story. It goes beyond what everyone is talking about, the abuse and so forth, but that's another story. So now with your innocence, coming to America at age 13, thereabouts, and how did you feel as a country girl, because that's what you were, right? Coming to this great big space.
Well, first they tell you that roads are paved with gold.
Exactly.
Well, to my dismay, when I landed in New York City, I looked around and I said, it smells bad.
Yeah.
I don't see any gold anywhere. When are we going to get to the golden streets? It gave me not until as I've aged, I realized what they meant by the roads are paved with gold. Being in America is one of the only countries that you can actually go from poverty-stricken child to where I am today. And there are opportunities that are presented that only if you reach for those opportunities and you actually inject your excellence in the opportunities, you can become every single thing that you have ever imagined. And I realized that as I grew older, that's what they meant by the roads are paved with gold.
Beautiful. That is a lesson that most of us don't learn because we're expecting literally to find that gold, but it is about the opportunities. Right? And I said to my son recently, he's actually right there. That's my son. I said to him, it's about opportunity. You have all the education in the world, but opportunity makes all the difference. So I want to ask you, when you arrived, were you kind of intimidated by the system, or did you just find it, like not exactly what you thought it would be? Did it intimidate you in any way?
So no, I was actually, I don't get intimidated about anything really.
Yes, I forgot. You were the one beating up on the boys and everybody. Yeah.
So there has never been, I don't think there's ever been a moment that I've been intimidated. So when I came to the United States, even though I remember I had no TV, no magazines, there was no imagination what it should be like.
Right.
The only thing that I had was, it was paved with gold. So in my mind, that was literal. But when I came here, even though we were in a 1-bedroom apartment, for me, that was luxury, extra luxury, because I had running water, I had indoor toilets, I had electricity, and there was actually a TV. I can see people on the TV. It was only 2 channels.
Right.
I don't like 3 shows that plays on the 2 channels, but I had a TV.
Had one channel back in the day, okay?
So that was luxury.
It was black and white. But I love that you aren't intimidated by the system, because that's something that happens to a lot of us as immigrants. We come here and we allow the system to knock us because we're afraid to stand up to it.
Yeah.
And so we find a job and we keep at it for the next 50 years and then we retire, not recognizing that there's more. And this is part of what your journey is. This is what you're doing for a lot of young people and people like myself, not so young, right? Helping us to understand that this journey, it's not that you should not move through with blinders because there's so many opportunities out there for you.
Right.
Wonderful. So, yes.
I wouldn't say, I could say that you should move through life with blinders. Because you should. Because there's so many distractions that take you off your pathway. So when you have your blinders on and you are direct in your lane, you are not looking, because if you run zigzag, it takes you forever to get to your destination. But if you're going straight, you get there significantly faster. And that's one of the things about me, that my blinders are always on.
Oh, wow. But you're always aware of opportunities.
Yes.
So it's not getting distracted by those opportunities. So even though you have your blinders on, you're still aware and alert to the opportunities. And that's what you do. You take advantage of those opportunities.
Yes.
Right?
Opportunities that are within your lane.
Within your lane.
That within your lane.
Beautiful.
So my business, the way that I structure my business,
Mhm.
all my business feed each other. My medical equipment business feeds my pharmacy. Pharmacy feeds medical equipment. Medical uniform scrubs feeds both of those lines, and my real estate feeds it. So I'm significantly always in my lane.
Yeah.
So I'm not going over here.
That's wonderful.
So I don't invest in anything I don't know about, and I'm not leaving and saying let's go to here or something, clothing or entertainment, because I know nothing about that. Is in my lane, and so I always stay in my lane.
Beautiful.
And that's what I encourage everyone, include especially young people, to stay within that lane. And sometimes the challenge is no longer there, or boredom, or difficult. And if there's a challenge issue, you can create opportunities within that lane to be challenge yourself, so that endorphins of the rush that you need, that you think you would have if you go there, so you can stay, and that way you can become successful in whatever it is that you're doing.
That's a wonderful thought. I never thought of it that way. I always thought, because if anyone, you know me, I'm always grabbing at something, and I'm always trying new things. Hence what I have here. But I enjoy the process. So this is your journey to, did you ever imagine that little girl running around and stoning dog and everything, right? Did you ever even dream that one day you would become, not necessarily a billionaire, but just become rich, or just become, because most of us as kids, we don't even think about that. But did you ever at any point think it is possible?
So money has never really been a driver of mine. Is being excellent at everything that I do has always been my driver. So in the process of striving, I always did everything at maximum capabilities. And sometimes I try to push myself beyond the maximum capabilities. So no, I've never imagined being a billionaire.
Right.
Some days, right? Some days I don't even know how much money that is. That's a lot.
I love it. Right.
But what it is that I am centered around caring for people, and living in my purpose has enabled me to.
Wow.
For me, it's got me 50. My hard work and focus and staying in my lane has got me 50%. My faith in God and how I care for others has got me 50%.
Beautiful. So we talked about your journey. So let's talk about your book for a moment, right? This is Unbroken, the triumphant story of a woman's journey. And that's really what it is. Now, what I love about this story is the openness. And I'm sure you've addressed this before with others, the openness, just putting your pain out there, putting the whole agony of what it was to go through what you went through. I'm not telling you have to read it. But just, being open about your experience. There's some people who will say, I don't know if I would have, put that out there. But I think what it did for me is that it made me more aware of what so many people go through. Recently, one of our reggae artists, Queen Africa, talked about her experience with abuse. And there were so many people who said, why are you putting that out there? Why are you talking about that now? So much has happened since then. Just water under the bridge. What did it do for you to put that out there about your experience with abuse in one form or another, and how you overcame?
So I wanted to bring awareness to things that should not happen. So one of the feedback I've received from men that who have read the book, they say it helps them to be better men.
Beautiful.
From women, I did not realize that there were so many are affected the same way that I have been. But writing the story was the way that I am, I share. And if I give you advice, I will give it to you at its completion. I cannot give it to you half and part ways, because if I'm giving advice to you, I have to be able to bring you to a positive space. And for me, in writing this book, I said, I'm just going to tell it all. I'm going to share everything. And you know, I think no one told me that I'm not supposed to air my dirty laundry.
You go down the line, you're going to dash it away. But you had to do that.
I had to do that. I had to do that because my life goal and my life purpose is to help others, whether it is to uplift them, whether it is to tell them a directive, correction, or to give them a helping hand. My responsibility, and I believe it is my purpose, to help other people to be able to either find themselves in the peace that they need, the same way that I found my peace. It is also to make sure that a young woman can see what signs look like for someone who is not to be in their space. Now, of course, I don't recommend my book for anyone younger than 14, because I think that you need to be in the mental capabilities to be able to handle information like that. But I believe that age 14 over, everyone needs to read it. And of course, for me, selling the book, it's not about money. It is about, so I tell people, do not buy my book if you're not going to read it. Because the reason why I want you to buy it, I want you to read it so that you can either see yourself in the story or see how you can improve for the people around you, keeping other people accountable. And my sister that is sitting next to me, if we're going through the same pain, I should be able to share with you, and we support each other so that we can move our needle further along the way. So that's my reaction.
There's so many of us, male and female, who are walking around with that pain. And we have certain behaviors that people might not understand why we act the way we do, but that's probably contributing to some of what the choices we make and some of the things that we do. And so I'm really happy that you felt that you were comfortable enough, or maybe it was uncomfortable, to tell your story.
It was comfortable. Let me tell you why. So it's not probably is making the decision. So before writing this book, at the top of the pandemic, I decided I've been doing therapy for 10 years plus, and talk therapy helped me with my boundaries and helped me feel a little better in the moment of the talk therapy. And so my therapist says, at this time, I need you to do EMDR therapy, which is the trauma therapy. It's not talk therapy. It is reprogramming your brain. So when I did the EMDR therapy, and I did 8 sessions of it, I was able to rewire my brain and be able to melt what she refers to as ice cubes. So normal memory is a normal memory for a person. Normal experience, that's why you don't really remember normal things that happen as you age, but traumas will always stay there. So the traumas stay in your brain like ice cubes, and they're not melted. So what this specific type of non-talk therapy does, it melts those ice cubes so that now you are making decisions for your normal self versus your trauma that's making the decisions for you. And because a person who's traumatic has experienced grand trauma, you're running from the trauma, but you really run to it.
Yes.
Because the very first person that says I love you, because a person's traumatized, the very first person that says I love you, you latches on to them. And the way, talking to the woman, the way that life is, and normal people date, they don't just jump into the first person because, okay, this person said I love you, okay, I'm all in now.
Right.
When you're traumatized, that's all you're looking for. You're just looking for love. And it gave me the ability to be able to choose a partner to date normally.
Right.
And I recognized it after the treatments. I was like, wow, I'm actually dating normal now. I'm like, hold on, why say that? No.
And that's the whole
before
point.
I never did that.
Yeah, that's the whole point of it. This has affected you so much, the individual so much. The choices they make and somebody, what you doing with that? And you never realize that that has an effect. You know, I work with a lot of clients who are writing their books. And sometimes it's like a therapy session. You know, I'm going to start charging someone. I sit there and they tell me their stories, and some of it is so painful. And but I realize that a lot of times just talking it out, just letting it out, is therapy in itself. Beautiful. Okay, so we're going to wrap up in a moment, but I want to ask you about creating my own yes. What is that? Is it? It's connected to your book, but what is that? What does that even mean? What should that mean to us?
Okay, so creating my own yes. Being able to, the reason why I coined that phrase, create my own yes, is actually a large corporation. Is because I had to overcome certain things and I had to put my blinders on. And when someone is sexual harassing me over here, I had to figure out how to get out of it and get what I want out of the situation. When someone is being racist over here, I had to navigate past it and kept my blinders on. So in that phrase, creating my own yes, and there's lots as you whoever had read the book, you'll see there are lots of ways that I had to navigate. And one of the things that happened when someone hurt me, they get 48 hours. I don't care who you are. You get 48 hours. 24 to cry, 24 to sulk, and after that, I say to myself, watch me win.
Wow.
And
that's so much from you. I should be teaching you that, right? In order, but it's beautiful and it comes from a real place. Real place. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna open it, right?
Yes, indeed. So, to everybody here, this concludes the interview. We will be continuing with the book signing. Now, the people who have their books already, you can come up first and then have it signed. Then, if you need to purchase your books, there's a gentleman here who will be accepting credit cards, right?
Yes.
So if you don't have cash, credit cards, but if you do have cash, have the full change, because you know
How much is the book?
$24.99. Okay, so just let you know, we would like to thank all the guests that are here today. We appreciate you showing up to be part of this awesome event. We would like to thank the team of Dr. Trisha Bailey, her team. We'd like to thank.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
We're going to entertain a few questions.
Oh, yes. Would you guys
Yes.
like some questions?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Do you want us to?
No,
Okay.
We're good.
I was going to say I was stand up because then I can't see people.
So just raise your hands.
I have Sharma.
Sharma,
First.
you can ask.
I am so excited to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you as well, my dear.
And I feel very honored and blessed to be in your presence. It's very refreshing to hear someone at that level speak of the grace of God, and to be able to speak in such a humble and just your humility and your grace and everything is just evidence of the grace of God. And for all of us who are striving for that, we applaud you, and we're just, I'm speaking for everyone, I'm sorry. But it's just amazing that today, so I'm a 7th grade social studies teacher, and today the lesson was on values. What are your values? And I basically said to my kids, you're going through identity, they're 7th grade, 12 to 13. You're going through identity issues at this point in your life. You're not sure who you are. But I just want to share with you how my values have shaped everything that I've done. I started with, my 3 values, God being center, purpose being, second, and let them know I used to be a general manager of a hotel. And then I decided, you know what, that's not the purpose that God has called me to. And I left that to go write. And in my writing, I'm now trying to change curriculum. And then just going all the way back to that being connected to God and purpose and everything else. And then it was just amazing to hear my kids come back with their values, and so that's one of the things that I'm hoping that curriculum gets changed so that we are focusing on developing that center that you were talking about. So I want to also I know Wes Moore was one of the writers that we had in my high school, and so I would definitely recommend that your book is used not just in Hartford Public Schools, but I think that is definitely an avenue for our 8th graders and high schoolers. Also, another thing I was a sexual assault counselor, and so just hearing, and I haven't read the book, but just hearing your candid, even talking about the therapy that you've done. I have friends who cannot move past the situations, and so I'm grateful that I'm here and for this experience. Thank you.
Thank you, Sharma. Just so that you know, folks, Sharma is also like a part of Optima Gold Radio because she has been interviewed
Right.
by Dr. V as well. Any more questions?
Yes, I think Mrs. Costin.
Yes. I'd like to thank you first for coming and spending some time here in your little city of Hartford, Bloomfield, Connecticut. Thank you for growing up and having the experiences that you had, because all of those things bring about a greater purpose. And your relationship with God and how He has brought you through those situations, and your grandmother and aunts and things like that. Because many people, both male and female, they go through some real struggles in their life, whatever portion of their life that it happens to occur. But if they can, like you say, put those blinders on and look forward to the things and the purpose and the greatness of what the world can offer them and step into it, and I'm so glad that you're emphasizing that.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any more questions?
Hi, Dr. Bailey. Nice to meet you. And I must say it's an honor being here in your presence. Also, I've read the book and I've reread the book and I've recommended it to my friends. I'm going to buy a couple to also give to people that I knew who have gone through trauma. One of the questions I wanted to ask, and I did make some notes, is again, thank you for acknowledging God, and all of those who have acknowledged God. He's our creator, and that's awesome that you did that. One of the things I wanted to ask is, at what point did you get to the place that you said, I must do this and I must do it now? Despite the fact that you might get some backlash, people saying, why are you putting your business out there? Is it because you wanted to inspire? What was your light bulb moment?
So my light bulb moment was after I went through a rough divorce, as you guys will find out in the book. And I said, I have to do something different. I have to figure out, because I can't keep doing what I'm doing because it is absolutely not working. And when I did, I said, I'm going to write the book. I'm going to, at that time, I was writing the book I mentioned. It is like somewhat like therapy. I was doing talk therapy and I was doing EMDR all at the same time, because I said, for the hooks or the crooks, may I fix this ahead, yeah.
You
So that
took
was
charge to fix whatever.
Yes. I had to make the change because I wanted to be a better person, not only for myself. I wanted to be a better person for my children, for the people who surround me. And given my success, professional success, with all the anchors that I've had on my ankle, I wanted to show young people, and not young people, that no matter where you are in your space, no matter what is happening in your life, you can overcome. You do not have to give up. You don't have to stay stuck within yourself, because a lot of people who have gone through pain, they keep it in.
Yes.
They live in the pain. And I say experience the pain, but don't live in the pain. Do not stay in the pain. When you release it, you allow your heart to open. There's space left so that you can receive the peace and the love that you deserve to have in your life.
So my daughter goes to UConn and she wants you to come and speak to her girls. She's the president of the West Indian group there, and she would love to have you come.
I'm there tomorrow.
You really?
Yeah,
Okay. All right,
yeah,
I'll talk
I'm
to
there
you
tomorrow.
You made a connection.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Any more questions? Oh, just
Well,
lady right here.
actually, it's not questions. It's not a question. I just wanted to say thank you for giving Angelo, Dr. Hazel, the opportunity which gives us the opportunity to listen to you, to just sit here and listen to you as another person, not as a billionaire, not as a millionaire, but we are also someone that you can identify with. And I so thank you and I so appreciate you. And Dr. Hazel, she's my friend, so I tend to see her. Thank you so much. And this is your shining moment.
Thank you. And that is Dante. She and her husband Lars drove up from New York to see
Oh,
you.
wow. Thank you
We
so
appreciate
much.
that. She's
Thank
also
you.
an author. So
Thank you.
She's working on her PhD. Yes. Dr. Rule? Yes.
Okay, so I have a question / comment. I think your story is powerful. I read the first chapter and I had to stop. I think the message is powerful. I think it's good to be that transparent. I think is wonderful. But my question is on the other side. I think once you start writing one book, there's probably another book inside it. So my question is, have you thought about the second book and what that might be?
So I have not thought about the second book. I have been asked this question many, many times. And so my writer, this amazing man over here,
Oh my goodness, Kenny.
he came over.
Rounds of applause.
Yes.
Beautiful job.
He did an amazing job in capturing my story
Yes.
and allowing you to experience it in this purest form. So my next book, I think what a couple of thoughts go through is the how-tos, how to become a billionaire, how to become a millionaire, how to become successful. And I probably will never use billion or million because money cannot be your focus and your driver, because if it is, then you start doing immoral things. You start being not kind to people when you're supposed to be kind. You start injecting the very negative things into the world and you start treating people the way that they should never be treated. So more likely than not, they will be how to become, but who knows? I have another, hopefully another 50 years plus years to live.
Yes. After this book tour, then yes. Okay, I do believe we're going to be wrapping up in a moment, but
Okay, so do we have any more questions? Going once, going
It's
twice.
not a question, but while we're here, there's a cancer research organization, Orally, I just wanted to put it out there. And she's a Black woman who's found, I don't know her, I know nothing about her, I just know that she's been trying to get funding, and she came up with an idea for eradicating cancer cells. It's Orally research.
Actually, I can help you out a little bit with that.
Yeah.
Orally actually started down in Maryland, they moved out to Atlanta. It is Black funded, it's Black researchers,
Yes.
the whole 9 yards.
Just put
I
it
go
out
with them every year. We do a cancer research fundraiser every year.
She
And
needs
they're
help.
actually one of the organizations that's on our list of who we donate to.
Okay.
So any kind of contribution, because they are ran and operated the way that they are, a lot of the funding literally comes from her niece. Orally was a real person. Her niece is the one who put the organization together so that she can raise money and do research specifically for African American people.
Yeah.
You know, and to research it in a way where it could be beneficial to all, but specifically our people.
okay. So you might want to talk to Ms. Mo. That's Ms. Mo.
Ms. Mo, you know what? Stand for a quick second. Stand for a quick second, please. Now, this lady right here, as you all know, we do have a radio station here. And this lady, this really kind lady, has become part of our team. She's our publicist. We have gotten guys from the Delphonics, Rave Reviews, the Intruders, and they have been on our show with great interviews. So she's going to be bringing us some great people as well that might be here.
Yes.
So and also, folks, just to let you know, this is a bookstore / radio station. Now, we have a lot of books here for children, young children. At any given day, you can bring your child here. You can sit. You can relax with your child. Read books. There's no hassle, no problems. This book is open for our people. Come in and enjoy yourselves. Tell a friend about it and just enjoy. How many Black folks you know have a bookstore? That's not.
It's not happening
So this
anymore.
bookstore is an example that we should support it and follow up with it and bring our kids, let them understand that reading is the stepping stones to knowledge. All right. Now, we want to thank you all, especially folks who are coming from far. Bless your heart. We thank you so much. And for everybody else here, we do appreciate you. And we want to thank Dr. Trisha's team. And we would like to also give thanks to two people, Mr. Rowan Stewart and his wife, who made it all possible.
Yes.
And we would also like to thank our team, who've also worked hard to make sure this is possible. Mr. Cameraman, Stewart. We will commence at this time with the book
Oh, and
signing.
there's Lady London.
Oh, and Lady London,
She's
part of our
ready to
team.
see.
She's our engineer. That's what just described. The actual official ribbon cutting ceremony. This one is this Friday. Now here's the news. 11:37 Main Street in Stortford, and please tell a friend they can always show. Thank you.